What's up, everybody? Brett here, and we're back today on my YouTube channel, Good Talk Gaming, to play some more Battle Brothers. Guys, the Warriors of the North DLC is here. I want to say first off, sorry it's a little bit late, this video. It's about 24 hours late, and that's because yesterday my internet went down for basically the entire day, and I wasn't able to record. So sorry about that, but I'm here, I'm excited. I was reading the patch notes just now, might make a separate video on that. But for those of you who aren't familiar with Battle Brothers, don't worry. I'm going to get you up to speed. For those of you who are returning from our last epic playthrough, thanks for showing up, guys. I really appreciate it. So let's go ahead and take a look real quick. Warriors of the North. It adds a new human faction of northern barbarians with their own fighting style and equipment, different starting scenarios for your company, new Nordic and Rust-inspired equipment, as well as new contracts and events. So, yeah, guys, let's go ahead and start a new campaign. And okay, so here we go. We're getting right into the meat of what is probably the best thing added with this DLC, which is going to be company origins. So I'm going to spend just a quick minute, guys. Feel free to fast forward if you already know all this stuff. We're going to talk about company origins because I think it's important. For those of you who are, curious about what I've chosen to start as, it's going to be Northern Raiders. So quickly, we're going to go through this. Rebuilding a company. You are second in command in a mercenary company that has been tracking a brigand named Hoggart for some time now. An unexpected turn of events leaves the company in shatters, and you in charge to rebuild it to its former glory. Recommended for new players as it includes some helpful guidance at the beginning. You'll see here it's denoted as one skull, meaning it's an easier start. This is the standard Battle Brothers start. Track down Hoggart, kill that bitch, and continue on. So here we go. A new company. This is, I believe, what you used to have to start as in the alpha. So it says, after years of bloodying our sword for meager pay, you've saved enough crowns to start your very own mercenary company. With you are 3 experienced mercenaries with whom you fought side by side in the shield wall before. A quick start into the world without any particular advantages or disadvantages. Here we go. Here's one that I think a lot of people are excited to play as, myself included. It's called Peasant Militia, and it says here, it started as a ragtag militia made up of anyone brave or desperate enough to volunteer for defending their homes, but has grown into a small army, an army that needs to be fed each day. Perhaps the militia services could be rented out. So peasant armies start with a roster of 12 poorly equipped peasants. That's pretty cool. Human wave, take up to 16 men into battle at once and have up to 25 in your roster. So, this is the exciting part, right? Starting with 12 peasants means you can kind of get going really fast. If you lose 1 or 2 guys, it doesn't really matter. You're still able to do those early game contracts. In fact, I would expect to lose a few guys. And then Human Wave. In the late game, being able to field 16 men, even if they are low-tier peasant guys, and here we go with dirty peasants, can never hire anyone that isn't a low-born peasant. So all of your guys are going to have to be, you're not going to get your sword masters, your hedge knights, your, cell swords. You're not going to be able to get any of those guys, any of those backgrounds. You're going to be stuck using all of the low-tier peasant backgrounds. But, at max level with, amazing loot, well specced out with a lot of synergies, going to be super strong. I think at one point this was 18. I could be wrong, but I think they probably rightfully reduced it to 16. That made a lot of sense to me. So here's Band of Poachers. Very Robin Hood-esque. 2 skull. For years you've made a decent living by poaching in the local woods, evading your lord's men by being quick on your feet. But pickings have become slimmer and slimmer, and you're faced with a decision. How to make a living when all you know is how to use a bow. So hunters, start with a group of 3 woodsmen. Pretty cool. Ranged units. Expert scouts, you move faster and can always get a scouting report for any enemies near you. That's pretty awesome. I'm assuming this just means on the campaign map you're just a faster traveler, and being able to see enemies before you have to fight them is of course great. And then travel light, you can carry less items in your company's inventory. That sucks. By the end of the game, you have so much that you need to carry, it's pretty rough. Alright, so now we have Beast Slayers. You and your men make your living by hunting down the many beasts that beset villages on the fringes of civilization. It's dangerous work, but it pays well enough. And there's always a bigger beast to slay and more crowns to earn. So Beast Slayers, start with 3 Beast Slayers and decent equipment, as well as some beast trophies. Cool. Expert Trackers, see tracks from farther away. I like that. Expert Skinners. Each beast you slay has a 25% chance to drop an additional trophy. I'm sure that adds up over a long playthrough. And Prejudice. Most people don't trust your kind, so you get 10% worse prices. So you're kind of like a Witcher. I mean, you're hunting beasts. If for those of you who ever played the Witcher series, it's pretty awesome. But that's what it reminds me of. Seems like a fun start. Trading Caravan. I don't really much care for this one. You're running a small trading caravan and have most of your crowns invested into trading goods, but the roads have become dangerous. Brigands and greenskins lay in ambush, and there's rumors of even worse things out there. Caravan. Start with 2 caravan hands in your employ. I'm not sure if you only start with 2 caravan hands. Trader, get 10% better prices for buying and selling. That's cool. And not a warrior. Start with no renown and gain renown at half the normal rate. Renown is important in your gameplay, guys, but I mean, these prices could be great. I'd be interested just to do a start with just to see how it goes in the very beginning, but it's not the one that's getting me excited. I'll say. Deserters. For too long have you been dragged from one bloody battle to another at the whim of lords sitting in high towers. Last night you absconded from camp altogether with 3 others. You're dressed like soldiers still, but you're deserters, and the noose will be your end if you stay here for too long. Deserters. Start with 3 deserters and decent armor, but lower funds and a noble house that wants to hunt you down. So first to run. Your men always are first to act in the very first round of combat. Not sure exactly how relevant that is. I mean, it'll allow you to take positions. I guess you could build super heavy armor and then still be able to have essentially high initiative in the first round. But I'm not sure. You know, and against some enemies it could be very useful, like dire wolves, wolf riders. Anything with incredibly high initiative, you'll be able to outspeed them on the first move. That's a pretty cool buff. Pretty cool buff. Davkul Cultus. Davkul awaits. You lead a small flock devoted to the Elder God, and it's time to spread the word. Find more followers, acquire riches, and please Davkul with sacrifices. So cultists. Start with a group of 4 cultists with poor equipment. More cultists may flock to you for free. So starting with 4 guys is great. I have seen also that they added some cultist gear in the game, so probably pretty similar to the scary group we see in the background here. I was going to say they look like a certain terrible organization from the United States, but yeah, so draw your own conclusions. Sacrifices. Davkul will occasionally demand sacrifices from you, but also bestow boons upon those loyal to him. So I'm not sure what this means. If you're going to have to kill your own dudes, I have no idea. But if you occasionally get free guys, I imagine that's kind of the case. So Davkul seems to be almost like a Cthulhu, Elder God, you know, type of thing in this game, and I love that they're adding that kind of flavor to the game. Let's skip Northern Raiders for a second. Go down to Lone Wolf. You've been traveling alone for a long time, taking part in tourneys and sparring with young nobles. A hedge knight tall as a tree. You never needed anybody for long. Is it true still? Lone Wolf. Start with a single experienced hedge knight and great equipment but low funds. Elite few can never have more than 12 men in your roster. That's the big problem. And if your hedge knight dies, the campaign ends. So really a hard mode run. Can't let your guy die. But I mean, you could save the game, I guess, and just like it doesn't matter. Unless you're playing iron mode. So there's definitely going to be people on YouTube making, you know, hardest difficulty runs as Lone Wolf. But the difficulty comes in only being able to have 12 men in your roster. If someone gets injured, you're not going to be able to rotate them out. It's just, you know, you're going to either have to fight a man down or try and help them survive. So, going to be pretty fun to see other people play that or to eventually jump into that myself. But for today, we're going to be playing as the Northern Raiders. Love this art. For all your adult life, you've been raiding and pillaging in these lands, but with the local peasantry poor as mice, you may want to finally expand into the profitable field of mercenary work. That is, if your potential employers are willing to forgive your past transgressions. Start with 3 experienced barbarians. Outlaws. Start with bad relations to most human factions. I think that's 2 out of 3. And pillagers. You have a higher chance to get any items from slain enemies as loot. I like that a lot. Can't wait to see our 3 experienced barbarians. That's what we're going with today. And we are going to... So these are the 2 new banners that you can choose from. I don't have the supporter edition. I forget what it's called. But I don't have the extra banners. But I thought about going with this one. I came up with a company name. We're going to be the Jarls of Jorvik. So, hope you guys like that name. I was trying to keep it kind of Scandinavian themed. We're going to go with a random late game crisis. I really don't care what happens first. Take off permanent destruction because that's really not my thing. Map seed I'm not going to mess with. I would prefer a very different looking map. I did a couple like little dry runs just to look at some of the company origins, and I kept getting like super similar maps, which I want to do something different than our last playthrough's map, but they all felt very similar. So hopefully we'll get something different. And our economic difficulty, we'll leave all this. They actually added a bit of a buff to beginner difficulty to help you. I'm not a huge fan of that. I liked it better when it was just, you know, the fewer higher tier enemies spawned early in the game. Because for those of you who don't know, guys, it's in Battle Brothers, if you want to fight big, hard fights, you can do that. Even on beginner difficulty, all you have to do is go out in the wild and fight. But the thing about Battle Brothers is it has a very grindy early game, and I'm not trying to be stuck in the early game, you know, for 20 videos. So I definitely want to get past that, and the easiest way to get past that, we'll leave the economic difficulty on beginner. It just, if you really want to have fun trading and like figuring out going back and forth between cities and role playing in that way, I would recommend going veteran and perhaps starting with medium funds. But honestly, there's not that much of a difference between the two. All it's going to do is cut a few episodes out of our early game. And at the end of the day, it'll end up all evening out pretty nicely. So let's go ahead and start. So guys, there's a lot of reading in Battle Brothers. There's going to be a lot of new events and things. I'm going to try my best to read all of the important stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to read everything, especially the things that we've read together, some of us, 100 times. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the Northern Raiders. After you and your party killed half of them, the villagers finally submitted. A white flag was raised, and they offered parley, which you were happy to grant. In a single line, they walked out to the town square where they had been holding a festival. Jewels and treasure filled their arms as they dumped the goods where you stood, boot atop the smashed skull of their mayor. Your vanguard of Jotnar, Brand, Oberon, and Heil kept careful watch of the ceremony like buzzards watching a slow death. The last in the line was a monk. He had no gold or silver on him, but instead spoke to you, his words immediately drawing the weapons of your fellow raiders. You allowed him to speak, and he spoke at length about the old gods, and how the treasures of the heavens superseded all of that which Terra could offer. You told him his death was written by that wagging chin of his. The monk pursed his lips. All right, then if you want gold, depart these silly games, this raiding and pillaging. It is all worthless compared to the treasures of the south. The nobles won't have you in their armies, but they are forever in need of mercenaries, and rarely have the time or luxury of choosing where these hired fighters come from. You'd make all the crowns you'd ever want. Come south, raiders, and be sublimated into sellswords. Oberon demands the monk's head, but you stay the execution. Instead, you take the crafty monk at his word. You've long heard of southern riches and the travels of adventurous swords for hire. You decide to venture south, so long as the monk comes with. Oberon protests, but you won't have it. If this pale little shit of a monk is your lucky charm to a new life, then it would be an affront to the old gods to leave him be. The raider storms off, but Jotnar, Brand, and Heil have no qualms about following you. The rest of the war party returns north, a split in the loot being made. What remains of the village is left behind to recover, rebuild, and make new goods for stronger tribes to come and take for themselves. We'll strike south. So here we go. Let's see if we can get a good look at the map. Okay. So far, feeling pretty similar to all the other maps like I mentioned. Oh man. Also kind of worth noting. Oh no, this is bad. So the only house that likes us has 3 cities. Oh no. That's bad. The one further south, let's see how they feel. Threatening. Let's go ahead and take a look at relations, because this is the biggest part of this whole playthrough. House Adelheim doesn't hate us. We're neutral with them. House Harkin is threatening towards us. And House Austin actively hates us. So we need to stay away from the cities. It just sucks that the biggest house is the one that we're at odds with, hopefully during a war or something. So we need to get all the way down to Dornan, I think. We can kind of take the wild paths, hopefully not run into any large groups. Before we get started, let's take a look at our brothers. Oh my god, they gave us a warhound to start with. Fenrir, no less. So Fenrir's a Norse name. I want to say in mythology that's like the dog that swallows the moon or something like that. He's basically there at Ragnarok, if I'm remembering that correctly. Oh man, they didn't give us a ton of them. Well, I'm seeing greedy as a trait. That's pretty awful. And then brute. Extra damage to the head. Okay, and we also have the monk. That's hilarious. Okay, so let's take a quick look at our new brothers. Here's Jotnar, and we can take a look at their stats. So I see here they all are pretty jacked in terms of they obviously are going to be great melee characters. Melee skill, melee defense, HP. We see they have stars in melee skill, fatigue, HP, and then, yeah, all across the board. So we're going to start them off making sure they all have Student and Colossus. That should help them survive nicely in the early game. Student giving them that bonus XP, and then Colossus also giving them that bonus HP. So let's start with Heil here. He's got a leather helmet, not bad, 105 armor, and hide and bone armor, 95, not terrible. And let's go ahead and level him up. So we'll take some HP there. We'll take a 3 roll there. I think we'll honestly take a 5 roll in, or a 4 roll in resolve. It'll be nice to get them up to around that 50 mark. Another 4, another 3. And actually at this point I think we'll take a 3 in fatigue. So nice. And we'll go over their backgrounds in just a second after we go ahead and level them up. We need to get them ready for combat. I like that. Let's hope for, oh my gosh, they're giving us a lot of really good rolls. Since he has 2 stars in fatigue, we'll take the 4 and resolve right now, because he's going to have good fatigue no matter what at the end of this. I hate that he's greedy. 3 here, 4 here, 3 there. Now we go 3, 4, 4. And that's all good. So they're pretty strong for, you know, where they are. This guy's got 91 HP already. And their melee attack is going to be pretty efficient with their big brutal weapons. So we have an axe hammer, a massive rusty hybrid of hammer and axe. Due to its blunt edge, more of the former than the latter. So its attack is batter. Pretty cool. We've got 2 of those, and then we also have a crude axe. So 30 to 40 damage versus 20 to 30. But the effectiveness against armor is way higher on the axe hammer. Okay, and then we also have our monk, who is currently not equipped with anything. He's not leveled at all. Give him a bandage, I guess. Let's read his background. The man who put you on the path. You believe Wendell may serve some greater role to your attaining immense treasures. You've seen northern gimps and one-armed men who would best him in combat, but his knowledge and intelligence may be sharper blades in good time. Monks are like the best background in the game. In our last playthrough, we had a guy named Yaku the monk, and he stuck with us for the entire campaign. He had terrible stats, but at every single event, or, you know, all the different things that pop up, the monk background came through every single time. Sometimes it meant we were able to recruit new brothers, or avoid really terrible events, or he gained us extra loot. There was a lot of stuff that monks do, and it's probably the best event-based background in the game. They also seem to have great resolve, which oftentimes can make them pretty good bannermen or sergeants. His stats are pitiful. Right now he may as well either be a ranged or melee person. I may end up turning him into a bit of a hybrid if I get the chance, and then perhaps making him our bannerman slash crossbowman. With that high resolve, that should be pretty nice. Okay. We want to go and look at our brothers' backgrounds real quick. I'm thinking if we kind of stay on the road, we may have a chance of attacking some peasants or trade caravans. But we also could end up getting wrecked by some of these bigger cities' garrisons. Okay, before we get into that, let's read our barbarians' backgrounds. So first is Jotnar. A sturdy warrior, Jotnar has been through many campaigns of raiding and pillaging. Although a man of few words, the raider is an absolutely vicious specimen in battle. Even for a raider, what he does to defeated villagers irks many. It is likely he came with you to satiate his more sadistic lusts. I wonder, can we recruit barbarians? I don't know. Brand was a boy when taken from a northern village and raised amongst the barbarians of the wastes. While he learned the language and culture, he never fit in, and was a constant victim of cruel jokes and games. You're not sure if he's followed you to return home, or to get away from his northern family. Well, you're an old man now, Brand. It's a little late for that. And then here we have Heil. Barbarian raiders often take from lands foreign to them. Most see their raids as a matter of material and women, but occasionally they will enslave formidable boys with great potential. Heil, a northerner, was such a child, and he was raised to be a raider himself. Half his life was with his primitive clan, and the other half with those who took him. This has made him as hardy and brutish a warrior as one can get. So that's what we're dealing with. These are our bros, and now we need to head south. So I was thinking that the northern parts of the world would be bigger, but I guess not. There's still not that much snow. Everywhere hates us. We can't visit those. I see a... Okay, that was a guard tower, but it's in ruins. I was actually worried about passing by that. So we're going to try and be careful, guys. If we see people coming, we need to run in the opposite direction. That's a large city. There is a watchtower there. Some barbarian thralls. I don't think we want to take any fights like that where we can't see the exact number. If we're going to attack anyone, it needs to be peasants, basically, or caravan hands. I'm excited to fight some barbarians, but at the moment, with only 3 brothers and our monk being completely useless, we can't take that chance. I would love to get into a fight with some caravan hands or something. Whoa, no, not brigands though. Especially not raiders. If we... Nope, 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 run, run, run. We have to get out of here. I can't believe this, we're already running. We just need to make it to the south, guys. If we can do that, we can survive. In time, all of these bad relations will probably fade unless we continuously attack them. And I would like to pick one of these houses to attack. And if I had to choose, it would definitely be the house with the fewest guys, with the fewest cities. So the one that likes me now is the one that I would like to attack. And the one that hates me is the one that I would love to befriend, because they control like half the map. So here we get a chance to do an early fight with 3 direwolves. I think we can take 3 direwolves with 3 guys with their current gear. Whoa, and they're already upon us. We're going to wait here. Would love to get some shields in. Step up and isolate that direwolf from the rest of them. Make a bit of a choke point. And then drop our war dog. That's so awesome. We're going to step up once. If we step up again, can we punch him? Wow, we punched him and he ran. That's perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. Oh no, our dog. No! Oh my god, they killed Fenrir right off the bat. Well, that sucks. That sucks. I can't believe that. So, guys, I don't know how much stronger those warhounds are. I guess they have the same amount of HP. Because it didn't seem to save them at all. Man, we lost Fenrir right off the bat. That bums me out. Let's pass here and see if we can get an attack off. There we go. He's already routing. So, I mean, God, we lost our war dog right off the bat. We're going to run them down. Come on, we got to make him pay for that. God. Well, I mean, we didn't really need to use him, but at the end of the day, I was hoping that that would be cleaner than that. They just straight up turned on him and killed him. Okay, guys, so here we get our first ambitions. Man, what a lame start to this play. I can't believe we lost Fenrir. We'll pick up more, though, guys. There's going to be a point in this campaign where we just have, like, a dozen of those. So as is customary, you assemble the men to explain the company's next step. Brothers, the Jarls of Jorvik must show the world we are forged of a hotter fire than other mercenary bands. As our reputation grows, so will the influx of crowns to our coffers. Let us forge a path to greatness. So we can either try and get to a dozen men, or forge a bond of friendship with a single town, and that's pretty easy to do. So we're going to do that. Getting to a dozen men might take some time, and if we find ourselves getting close to that ambition and this one's not finished, we'll drop that one and go to the other. So rough, man, it's so rough losing Fenrir. I'm guessing the DPS potential of those things is pretty high. Of Warhounds, that is. Let's take a look. Are we still, yeah, we're still pretty well stuck here. They're threatening. If we go near them, they'll... Oh, man. Yeah, let's go through the mountains. I didn't want to do that. We don't want to go anywhere near Grafenheid. Last rest of the Forgotten. Have to remember, too, enemies can still come out of those types of places. Curious Shipwreck. Oh my gosh, this is a legendary location, and we found it right at the beginning. The ship is wrecked amongst the trees, some of which have long since started to grow through it. As far as you're aware, there's neither sea nor river for miles. Wendell walks up and halts at the very sight. By the old gods, is that a ship? You sigh and tell the company to stay here while you and the very observant sellsword go to take a look. Let's see what secrets are inside. You step into the bowels of the ship. It's completely vacant save for a stump with an axe head chopped into it. Wendell looks at it. That's an axe head. God, Wendell. Nodding, you say, there it is indeed. But the metal of it carries veins of a sort of golden hue. Getting closer to the stump, you can see embers flaring upwards out of the wedge. Wendell taps your shoulder, and you find him pointing into the dark of the ship. Skeleton. Dead one. Just faintly you can see the pale bones. As you draw near, the clothing becomes apparent, and readily obvious as royal attire. There is a cracked ale horn in one hand, and a molded loaf of bread in the other. His jacket is blown open and shredded by splinters. Upon closer inspection, some of the wood is embedded into his brain pan. Inspect the stump. Seeing as how the skeleton and his beer and bread ain't going anywhere, you leave it be. The axe head, however, draws your eye again. Wendell walks over to the stump in the glowing wedge. He tries to take it out. Finding no luck there, he steps back and kicks it further in. The trump cracks in twain, and the sellsword suddenly flies upside down, and the axe head shoots through the roof of the boat, and you can hear it clunk and clatter down its sides outside. Debris and smoke drift lazily about. The sellsword gets up and pats himself off. What in all the hells was that? You shush him and point. A little golden goose squats where the stump's base used to be. The sheen of its metal glows and swirls. You've heard stories of a golden goose, but never thought they were anything beyond that. Is it real? This is one of the best things that could have happened to us, guys. Sucks that we lost Fenrir. This is going to make up for it. Wendell stumbles forward. Sir, what are you doing? You wave him off and pick the golden goose up. Holding it in both hands, it feels oddly warm, and it isn't exploding or melting your face. Yeah, a little Indiana Jones reference. You can feel its metal rippling ever so slightly against your fingers. It might even be growing. With the treasure safely huddled beneath your elbow, you wonder why the skeleton didn't fare better. Wendell walks up and touches the golden goose on the head, but quickly recoils. You ask if it burned him. The sellsword purses his lips. Really, sir? Was it not obvious? He sticks his finger in his mouth. You tell him not to be so snappy with his commander, or you'll throw the goose at him and see if it makes short work of him as it did the skeleton. The man shrugs. Oh, look at the man chosen by a shiny bauble. Put a blade beneath a wing so I can knight ye. Or hells, why not put it on your head and call yourself king already? You look down at the goose. A drop of red blood runs down its length, turns gold, and drops to the ground with a tiny plink. You pick it up and bite it. The gold smoshes satisfyingly in your teeth, and you then throw it to Wendell. It does not burn him this time, and you realize you may have found the genuine golden goose from the tales So we gained the golden goose. That's awesome. The tales are true. So for those of you who don't know, there are legendary locations in the game, super rare places that are hard to find. And because we went through this, middle of nowhere mountain range, we were able to find the curious shipwreck. And the golden goose is a unique item. So it generates 15 crowns a day, which, is not much. But our last playthrough went for well over 500 days. So, you're welcome to do the math on that. 500 times 15. That's how much crowns it can generate. And at the end of the day, if you ever find a city or town that gives you amazing prices, you could easily sell this for 4,500 crowns, which is, needless to say, an absolute fortune at certain points in the game. So, a small goose statue crafted from solid gold. A tiny golden egg mysteriously emerges from the statue once a day. That is awesome. So if we sold it right now, we would pretty much be set for all of our early game. But we're definitely not going to do that. We're going to hold on to the golden goose until we see an opportunity to sell it for just huge money. But now, it's also going to help us offset some of our daily crown usage. So it's costing us 81 crowns per day to pay our band. Mostly because one of our brothers is greedy, which does suck. We needed to get out of those mountains. Mountains cost you more provisions to travel through. And we finally reached Dornan. So Dornan is a large city, but not a citadel or anything like that. We can take contracts from here, and there are a couple level 1 contracts. We need to hire people. We need to get some fresh blood in here. And I'm not sure who we're going to get. A lot of these are pretty lame backgrounds. And we honestly don't have a lot of crowns. See, this is already worth 4K. That's crazy. The temptation to sell it is so real right now. I also don't think we need any adrenaline glands at the moment. We're just going to sell all of that and get rid of it. What we could really use, though, is some gear for our monk. And some better helmets for our barbarians would be useful as well. Let's buy some food before we starve. Honestly, man, I don't like any of the options that we have for people. We'll check the Fletcher just to see what's in there. Temple we don't need to visit. Barber and Tavern. We're not going to spend any crowns on that. Not at this part in the game. But here we could go in and customize our barbarians. I'm not sure I want to change them too much, and I like the fact that Window actually looks like a monk. But we may end up changing them at some point. But for the marketplace, we have to buy shields. We'll buy 2 of those. Actually, we should probably just buy 3. The prices here for buying are quite poor. That's why I'm only buying the stuff that's already a bit broken. Because we get a nice little discount on that. So we'll buy these 2 things here. I'd love to buy a spear, but I don't think I can at the moment. This is a Guindag. Wish that was a bit cheaper. It's kind of an expensive weapon. Anyway, let's go ahead and add some shields to our bros. Let's dress our boy up. 80. 65, 75 scrap metal armor, and then 95. So this is definitely the worst armor we're currently wearing. I hate not letting them look like barbarians. I feel like it's so thematic. But that's okay. I'm sure we'll get opportunities to get way more barbarian gear if we want it. We just need to go and find barbarians to fight. We could... I kind of want this Spetum, a cross between a spear and a pike. But it's so expensive, it's 1,000. Yeah, this place is really bad for buying stuff. Let's try one more time. Let's give it one more go looking at who we can hire. They're all really poor backgrounds. And we honestly don't want any of them. We need backgrounds that involve fighting. So for that reason, I'm actually going to pass on the contracts here. Ooh, a trading caravan. It's from Finterstwald, which is here. We can attack these guys. I would feel much better doing so with a real crew. Let's come back in here. You know what we'll do? I think we will attack them. But we're not quite geared for that, and we definitely want a weapon on our monk if we're going to do that. Something like this. This helmet is almost worthless. I think this is a pretty fair trade. Alright. I think we can attack that caravan. And this is going to be where the main changes in this playthrough lie, is that we're going to be able to attack caravans. We're going to be able to attack peasants and mercenary companies. So the cart doesn't count. There's going to be one guard who should have decent armor and weapons. And then the other guys are just going to be kind of useless, hopefully. Yeah. That looks like a boar spear. So that's a level 2 spear. I think we can take this fight. Just make sure we move together. We'll keep the tree at our side. If they want to advance, that's fine. If not, we'll advance. It's not a big deal. But we should definitely take this high ground if we can. Surprised the AI is not coming to take advantage of it. But they're going to stick with their cart. Interesting. So, Wendell does not have a shield, which makes him defensively vulnerable. However, you do get a bonus to your attack damage when you two-hand a one-handed weapon. So, he's pretty deadly if he hits, but his stats are so low I honestly don't know if you should expect him to hit anything. So I kind of like this standoff right now. They're just letting me advance in the exact way I want to. Whenever I jump into attack, it's going to be, you know, exactly how I want. We'll pass and see if they decide to move in on us. I'm not surprised the AI doesn't want to fight us on the high ground. But we're going to get a nice surround off. Okay, they move a bit to engage. If we step in, we can't attack, so we're not doing that. We don't want to step in here because we can get hit by his spear wall. But I like the idea of stepping in right here and getting this. Wow, we get the kill. Pretty lucky. Step in, go for another big attack. So he's got the best helmet that we have. He's actually, I think he's wearing the best gear that we have too. So having him be the one to take the hits is great for us. He still has his spear wall active. Let's throw up a shield wall. Good hits. And if he lowers his spear wall, wow, he has adrenaline. Interesting. He used adrenaline to get back some of that fatigue. Happy to shield wall up here. Without the defensive bonuses of shield wall, he's pretty vulnerable. Step up. Okay, we're out of fatigue at the moment. Kill the donkey. Wow, really being protected by his shield wall there. But that's going to be it. And we're going to run them down. We want to kill the donkey. I think you have to in order to get the goods. But that was a pretty successful fight for us. And what do we get? 2 quality woods. That's nice. We pick up a few early weapons and shields. We needed those. And just a bunch of food, medical supplies, some random stuff. Nice. Yeah, we're going to want to... We're raiders, man. We're going to want to attack trade caravans whenever we can. As long as it doesn't mess up relations with the one group of people that actually do like us, then I think we're good to go. I kind of like using this instead of the hatchet. The hatchet's a pretty reliable weapon though. 30 to 45. Yeah, we'll stick with the Scramix for a minute. And now we have a bit more gear for when we pick up another brother. Did someone level? Yes. So Wendell levels, we're going to go ahead and give him student as well. And let's see what kind of stat rolls we can get on him. Yeah, not surprising to see his resolve at that kind of a tier. Go 2 and 5. We'll take a 5 roll just because that's so big. And I'm imagining at some point we're definitely going to want to make him like a bannerman if he survives. And I want to try and help him survive because he's a unique brother for us. So guys, for those of you who aren't familiar, who didn't get a chance to watch my last playthrough, if you're a subscriber and you would like to name one of these characters, just go ahead and let me know in the comments section. Give me a general idea of what kind of build you'd like, something like that. And if you're not too picky, I can guarantee you that you're going to have a cool brother. In our last playthrough, we had so many epic heroes that rose and fell over the course of a long playthrough. So I see here we can't buy... Man, we can't buy any Warhounds. Okay. There's an armor here. Do we see any of the new stuff? No, no new stuff in there. The two-handed, yeah, there's some pretty big weapons in there. Obviously, guys, we can't afford any of that. But that's okay. We can sell this quality wood. The prices here are outstanding. We don't need to keep a monk's robe for any reason. Keep our crowns high. Let's check out what we can hire. Rat catcher is not what we're looking for. We can't afford some of the better tiered guys. Apprentices are usually not bad. And if my best two options are going to be these two apprentices, we're going to take these guys. I don't quite like the title, the swine. But let's go ahead and look at Conrad the Learner. So everybody looks up to the best. So what better way to be the best than to learn underneath one? Urged by his parents to better his craft, Conrad looked to start his career as an apprentice. He had soaked up all there was to learn. Masonry, carpentry, blacksmithing, love-making. Now he turns his eyes on the martial arts. While he isn't exactly a warrior yet, Conrad is a fast learner. So let's hire him. We could try him out just to reveal some of his unknown traits, but we're just going to hire him and take a look at what we picked up. So, sure footing, plus 5 melee defense, that's not bad. His stars are in fatigue and hit points. He has 1 star in range skill. It's really just his resolve that's super low. But as an apprentice, he gets plus 10% experience gain, which when you add that to student, means he learns pretty quick. Plus 30% experience gain is no joke. So let's go ahead and equip him as best we can for the moment. And then the last guy we're going to grab right now is going to be Fritz the Swine. Yeah, pretty much. Wow, he has almost an identical background. So let's hire him and hope he doesn't suck. They're both fairly cheap. And he is gluttonous. So that's no surprise. He's going to take up some of our food stores, which is not great. Might as well switch those out. No real difference there. But so having someone who's gluttonous and someone who's greedy definitely hurts. In the early game, they're going to be quite the drain on our resources. But for now, let's go into the marketplace and see what we can buy. Lots of dogs. Ooh, this is a new weapon, a war fork. This is the tier 1 Spedum, which we had a chance to buy the other place for a large amount. There's also a staff sling. A leather sling on a staff used to hurl stones at the enemy. So it has a range of 6 tiles, so it has the same range as a crossbow. And I read in the patch notes that the staff sling and the crossbow got a buff in their damage versus undead. The bows still do only 10% damage to the ancient dead, but the crossbows and the staff slings do 33%, which is honestly a big buff. It might not sound like a lot if you're not familiar with the game, but it makes them way more effective than they were before. And I think here I want to buy both of these padded leathers. Padded leathers are really good early game armors. I think that's fine. We also could use some helmets. We need shields at decent prices. How many shields do we need? 1, 2. 2. I mean, I'd like to get regular shields. I really don't like to use the bucklers if I can help it. So we'll grab 2 of those. We need helmets. At least the full Akaton caps would be decent. I mean, they have some other stuff here. Nasal helmet's a nice kind of step up from that. Well, let's buy 2 of these. We cannot go into combat with no helmets on brothers. You're just asking them to die at that point. And we're just going to go wide in the front line. Hopefully our barbarians can protect Wendell and keep him safe. Is everyone using pretty much the best armor they can be? I think so. And honestly, I would love to get some war dogs while we're here, but they're kind of expensive. Let's hold on to that. Everyone has a weapon. Yes, we have weapons, shields, armor, helmets. That pretty much sets us up as good to go. Would love to have an archer at this point in the game, but we do not, sadly. Were there any great deals in here? I didn't see any when we first looked. I'm looking for the lower tier stuff, and this is kind of the next step. It's going to be leather lamellar armor, and I doubt there are going to be any great deals for us here. Would love to get some like throwing axes, stuff like that, and get that rolling, but unfortunately we're not going to be able to do that. And then the kennel. These dogs are super cheap. See, they're worth 200, but they're selling them for 162. Let's buy Hound. We'll get 1. If I had a lot of crowns, I would buy way more than that. We're going to give him to Jotnar to replace Fenrir. I felt bad about that. But here we go, guys. This is our crew for now. We have 5 days worth of crowns. We have no contracts, which we desperately need. So let's go ahead and head back to Dornan. We're going to try and pick up at least 1 contract, maybe get that done today. And then that's going to be it for today's first episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm having fun. The whole like sneaking past all the northern houses. I can't wait to take on more trade caravans. I just wonder how killing their caravans has affected our relationship. I don't know if it has. Northeast of here, Ghost Hills. The lawmen call it Heimwort Castle Ruins. So they just want us to find a place. Not far to the northeast. I'll accept this contract. They just want us to find a place. While the Jarls of Jorvik readies its trip to find Heimwort Castle Ruins, a man sidles up next to you. He hands you a note and departs without saying a word. The scroll reads, "Leave the Heimwort Castle Ruins where it be. If you find it, talk to us. Our crowns for your silence, the rulers of Dornan need not know nothing." So, in a normal playthrough, I might consider that. But considering that these are the only people that like us, we can't afford to piss them off. So we're going to stick to our contract. What they're essentially doing is telling us that we can choose to tell them where the ruins are, or to not tell the nobles here. So I kind of want to take this fight. It's going to be probably tough. But let's see. If there's too many enemies, we'll retreat. Oh my god, yeah, we'll retreat. Yeah, we can't fight 15 enemies. I was hoping it was a really small group, but that is not the case. So this is going to take a second, guys. Normally, I don't enter into fights where I think I'm going to have to retreat. But we certainly do not want to fight 15 undead with 6 brothers. Now, normally if these weren't undead, I would be manually retreating to make sure, see how that inefficient movement there from Fritz. Anyone but the undead would just be chasing us, and he might not get away, so that would be pretty bad. But yeah, this is going to be our life for a minute. Making sure, trying to take decent fights and not die. But yeah, too many armored zombies. We can't fight that at this point in the game. And we're out. So, doesn't matter. We're still going to get paid for this. We lost nothing, thankfully. Nothing but a little bit of time. It's not a big deal. Let's head back to Dornan. Turn that in. We're going to reject whoever's offering us whatever they're offering us. It's so hard to turn down 4K crowns at this point in the game. So as you head towards Dornan, a stranger comes out onto the path. He's the man you talked to before, but this time he has a satchel in hand. You've no reason to tell the rulers of this town where the Heimwart Castle ruins is. Leave its secrets to us. You've no idea what heirlooms and history we have there. For your silence, we're willing to give you this as payment. So only 60 more crowns is really not anything. So I don't think so. Only our employers will learn where it is. I'm not going to try the whole get paid twice thing. I really just don't want to piss anybody off. We just don't have the forces to fight right now. So telling the man that you've no interest in betraying your original employer sets him off. He tries to attack you, launching forward to glom onto you with angry hands. Fritz the Swine pushes him away and threatens to kill him with a blade. The man backs off. He sits beside the path, head between his knees, sobbing. One of the men gives him a handkerchief as they pass by. So yeah, normally I would definitely not like to help the greedy, terrible nobles, but we really needed the crowns and we really need this place not to hate us. And eventually some of these potential hires will change and roll over, and we'll get a chance to get new fresh blood in there. This is Wendell, a brigand at large. Hey, I've got a guy named Wendell. We captured the other day. He once led an outfit of vagrants that used to harry and raid our town day and night. Problem is, he's not only the head of a snake, but one head of a hydra. Kill one criminal head, another takes his place. So what's the answer? Well, I kill them all, of course. And that's exactly what I want you to do, Sellsword. Are you interested? I accept your offer. So, we currently only have 6 brothers. It may be a smart thing for us to try and get to something like 8 before we start, going into these types of fights. I'm not confident that what we see here is going to be a fight that we can take, but we're going to go and check it out. And if I absolutely can't, function, then we are going to consider selling our golden goose. So there's some brigand thugs. Attacking at night is in our favor. There's no ranged units here, but we also don't have ranged units. Oh yeah, we're going to step up and get this guy. So they've got one of the Goendags, or whatever they're called. We're going to take the only high ground they have. And they're going to flank us, so we're going to leave Heil as our kind of center. Hopefully our brothers can handle this. We're not going to use our war dog unless we have to. And if we need to, we'll shield wall. Let's let them move in. They definitely don't want to go in on Heil. And you can see that the AI is being cautious. Good, they're focusing Brand. Let's go for the decapitate. Man, we missed both. Just try and get that kill. We can go for the stun, and we missed it. We missed our attack as well. That feels pretty bad. Let's go for the surround, too. That should pretty much guarantee that we get the kill. Whenever you surround an enemy unit, your chances to hit them goes up. Big hit there, and we broke his morale. Very good. I'm just worried about our boy Brand here. So 2 of them are routing, but not the 2 we really need to. Because this Brigand Thug could still potentially kill Brand. I'm happy to have Colossus on our Barbarians. It just makes them that much harder to kill in the early game. But they're still pretty vulnerable. Let's go for a stun. Yeah, we missed. And he still hit us once. Yeah, that shield wall is super effective. But there he goes, and that's going to be it. So happily, we're able to take out our first ever outpost. So we got a chance to... We're going to run him down. We got a chance to fight some pretty varied enemies in today's first battle. Series of battles, I should say. Highland Brand both level. That's great. We picked up some cleavers, a spear. That's going to be nice. Another wooden shield. And just a couple crowns. All good stuff. Enough equipment to outfit a few of our early brothers without having to buy anything. Go into our perks and see what we want to focus on. Brawny, I think, is always a good trait. So I'm guaranteed to pick that up. But the rest of the stuff is pretty open as far as I'm concerned. I want to do something different with our 3 barbarians at least. Give them some really cool, maybe barbarian themed builds. But Brawny, no matter what, it's going to allow him to wear heavier armor. For those of you who don't know, it's going to reduce the fatigue from wearing our helmet and armor, which is not like amazing yet. But in the early game, at least, they're not going to get tired. That's for sure. And we're going to get our brothers up to just about 100 HP and then stop. We can see here we're already up to 96 on Heil. So, it's pretty good. Now let's head back to Dornan, turn in our quest. See maybe if they have new recruits. And yeah, we might end up calling that a day. It's been a nice hour-long episode. Peasants. You know what? We're going to rock some peasants. Peace out, peasants. Before we go, we got to kill some peasants, guys. We're barbarians. I don't even know if they'll have weapons. Oh, he has a wooden stick. Oh. See, now I feel bad. He's angry, though. But this is the kind of cool stuff we get to do now that we never got to do in our last playthrough. What I really want to fight is mercenary companies. I can't wait. Not having to worry about pissing people off is pretty fun. Let's pass and see how they move. Man, the old take the high ground with no weapons strategy. A classic. So what we want to do right now is basically tie them down. Make them so that they can't run once we start killing them. So they're going to get a chance to punch us. I mean, that's not a big deal. Yeah, they're all completely tied down now. This guy looks like me. I'm just going to throw that out there. For those of you who don't know what I look like. That's pretty much me, just with shorter hair. More of a military style haircut, but yeah, that's me. Same nose, same beard. I don't think I have that shirt, though. We're going to run them down. So because we're raiders, we have a 25% bonus to the stuff that we pick up. I'm not sure what exactly we could have hoped to get from them. You know, getting their destroyed linen tunics is worthless. But it's the experience that's valuable. So I think we're probably leveled. No, we actually didn't level. We got almost nothing from that. But, I mean, Jotnar is pretty close to leveling. But that's going to be it. Let's go and turn in this contract and call that good. They no longer have ambush trade routes, which actually isn't that great for us because they were giving us pretty great prices to sell at. We were able to sell this for 4K because of their ambush trade routes, and now we can't. But their buying prices are better. These things are about 100 gold cheaper, I notice. I mean, that's not nothing. Not what I meant to click on. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and look at their hire. Looks like it's all probably going to be the same. If I was going to pick someone up right now... Oh, no. They've added a few people. They have a hunter, a beast slayer here. Oh, that would be sweet to get early. We have a militia. Not bad. I like the militia as a starter. But we also have a poacher, which I think I'm going to take. I want to get an archer as soon as we can. So, Bernhard. After a long and hard winter that left him without a stock of food, Bernhard ate his fill of all manner of woodland creatures, a well-used bow yoked across his shoulders, indicating the means to his meals. Hailing from Dornan, Bernhard was poaching, an act of rebellion against the order of things as much as a means to fill his belly. After a bad hunt led him to a long stay in a lord's dungeon, he'd rather put his neck on the line as a mercenary now than in the noose of a poacher. So let's hire him. He's pretty cheap daily. He's a bit of an investment. We're hoping he doesn't suck. 1 star in range skill, could be worse. Hit points, not super great. Fatigue, not terrible. His resolve is fine. He's got tough, so plus 10 hit points. That's pretty cool. And irrational, plus 10 or minus 10 resolve randomly at morale checks, could be worse. But yeah, I'm happy just to finally have a ranged character. And he came with a spear in his inventory. That's interesting. Don't need that. We can give him this melee weapon here. I think it'll go down, the fatigue will go down to 4 from being in his like backpack, so to speak. But yeah, we have an archer now, Bernhard, and he's not terrible. Well, he is terrible, but he won't be terrible for long. And he's got decent armor. We can trade that out. He's at least wearing a helmet of sorts. But yeah, not bad. A sick beggar. Oh man. I'm tempted to buy him or to hire him just to see if he turns out to be like an amazing brother. But I think that's going to be it for today's episode. Let's go ahead and check out our contract and see what it is. He wants his property back. 300 crowns. That's in our ballpark. Accept the offer. Return the lockbox. Okay, guys, that's going to be it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're hyped for our 3 new barbarian bros, Jortnar, Brand, and Heil, and our monk. So if you ever watched the show Vikings, there's kind of a monk character who stays with the main character, the Viking character, and that's kind of how I'm going to treat him. Athelstad is his name. And for us, I think right now, this guy is our Athelstad. So I'm going to keep him alive as best I can. Hopefully he doesn't end up like the real Athelstad. But yeah, I'm excited. Our company started off cool. The gameplay here is super fun, being able to attack trade caravans and peasants. This is going to be a great playthrough. I can already feel it. We're going to end up doing a bit of questing and grinding here in the bottom portions of the map. And then over time, hopefully, people hate us less. I don't know, but I really want to get up north and start fighting barbarians. We'll see what the game allows, and then we'll try and take advantage of some of the new content. But guys, that's going to be it for me today. Once again, my name is Brett. My channel is Good Talk Gaming. I hope you enjoyed this early first look at Warriors of the North, and I hope you stick around and consider subscribing and liking the video because I'm going to be doing a heck of a lot more of these. And like I said, if you want a named character, just let me know in the comment sections. Alright guys, take care, and I will, as always, see you in the next one.